Hey guys, this is going to be the first video in my Learn R series. I'm going to assume that you've already installed R and you've installed RStudio, and we're just going to jump straight in and see how we can get started with R. So when we open RStudio, you're going to see something like this, although probably a little less pink. In the top window, we have a script file, which is just like a notepad. We can store commands and then send them down to R. R lives in this lower left-hand quadrant. It's called the console down here. So R is constantly listening and waiting for us to type something in. And when we do, it's going to read what that command is and then tell us the answer. The environment is in the top right-hand corner, which tells us what's in R's memory. Nothing yet, because we haven't told it to remember anything, but we'll do that today. And in the lower right-hand corner, we have just a little file directory, so we can see what's in my folder here, and there's just a project file. Nothing to worry about yet. Okay, cool. So we're going to click down into the console in the lower left corner and just see the basics of R. So all we're covering today is the fact that at its core, R is just a calculator. So we can type in some sums down here. So we could say 12 plus 3, and we get the answer. 12 plus 3 is 15. So R has read that command and then evaluate it. It's going, okay, what's 12 plus 3? It's 15, and told us. So we could do subtraction, same thing. We just use the hyphen, which is next to the 0 on our keyboard, to do a minus sign, and then 45 minus 32 is 13. To do multiplication, we can hold Shift-8 to get a little asterisk symbol, which is a multiplier in R, and get that. Similarly, we can do division by holding the little forward slash. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. And we can do powers, so 45 squared. Cool. So on top of just doing basic maths, we can also store numbers. So like on a graphics calculator, we could say x equals 2. And suddenly our environment field has changed because we've saved a number, the number 2, into the object x. And all that allows us to do is retrieve it later. So for instance, I can type down in console x, and we get that there's 2 stored inside that. And now we can use x like any number. So x plus 3, well, 2 plus 3 equals 5, so x plus 3 also equals 5, or x times 2. And these answers will change depending on what the value of x is. So if we go x equals 9, and then go x times 2, well, x is no longer 2, it's 9, so the answer is now different. 9 times 2 is equals to 18. So at its core, very simple. You can use R like a calculator. Things do get more complicated than that, and that comes into our next topic, which is functions. So you're probably wondering, well, you may be wondering when I was doing all those maths, how do you do a square root? Because there's no obvious square root button on a keyboard. And the answer is a function. So we can type in the word squirt, which stands for square root, open our parentheses and close them, and then we can put a number inside this function to get the square root of it. So what is the square root of 9? Well, 3 squared equals 9, so the square root of 9 equals 3. So we're using a function here. But that is a topic for the next video. So if you liked this, if it's useful, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.